In the ICU, one of the most important decisions we make after intubation is that do we control the pressure or do we control the volume? Because that choice can decide whether your patient improves or deteriorates. So volume control mode is one of the most commonly used modes in critical care, and the concept is simple but powerful. You set a fixed tidal volume and the ventilator guarantees the volume is delivered with every breath regardless of the pressure required. This means that your minute ventilation is predictable, your CO2 control is reliable, and you know exactly how much air is going into the lungs every time. But there is a trade-off, because while volume is fixed, the pressure can rise, and if you are not careful, that can lead to barotrauma or volutrauma. That is why understanding when to use volume control is critical. One of the most important cases where volume control is preferred is in acute respiratory distress syndrome, where the lungs are stiff and non-compliant. In these patients, we use low tidal volume ventilation, usually around 6 ml per kg of predicted body weight, to prevent further lung injury. Here, volume control allows you to strictly limit the tidal volume and follow lung protective strategies. Even if pressure increases, which you monitor closely through Plateau pressures. Another common scenario is in patients with neurological conditions such as traumatic brain injury, where controlling CO2 is crucial because CO2 indirectly affects cerebral blood flow. In such cases, volume control ensures stable minute ventilation and prevents fluctuations in PaCO2 that could worsen the intracranial pressure. Volume control is also useful in sedated or paralyzed patients where there is minimal patient effort and you want full control over the ventilation. For example, in severe sepsis requiring deep sedation or during peri-intubation stabilization, this mode gives you consistently and control. It is very helpful in metabolic acidosis where patients require high minute ventilation to compensate, and you need to ensure that adequate ventilation is delivered without relying on patient's effort. However, not every patient is ideal for volume control. In conditions like asthma or COPD, where airway resistance is high, delivering a fixed volume can lead to dangerously high pressures and air trapping, increasing the risk of autopeeping and hemodynamic collapse. In such cases, pressure-based modes are often safer. That is why, while volume control gives you precision, it also demands vigilance. You must always monitor peak pressures, plateau pressures, and the patient's compliance. In the end, the volume control ventilation is not just a mode. It is a strategy. It is about choosing control over predictability, ensuring consistent ventilation, and protecting the lungs when used correctly. Because in the ICU, it is not about putting a patient on the ventilator. It is about understanding exactly how that ventilator is affecting their physiology.